And we have our final game of the week, as well as of the mini-series I have going on here, because these all took place from the same thing, but it was a very short tournament. It was a very short turnout. You know, for this team being on paper, from going on paper to in 3 battles, I'm not 100% disappointed with it, but the big problem I did have is that I didn't have anything that really resembled a lead. So I have to rely on what my best impulse is and automatically be on the defensive with what kind of juke plays I need to make. So with that in mind, we're going to jump into our first one, our first turn, I should say. The game's against RobotnikIsSexy. You probably saw his name in the title. I played him in a couple of these things before, and I lead off with Scizor. He leads off with Noivern. I'm assuming this thing is choice specs and is going to want to... I don't know. I assume Flamethrower. I was like, you know what? I don't want to overpredict or anything like that. I might as well just go into Arcanine, who's maybe... I don't know. I didn't really want to Bullet Punch or anything like that. But because I'm running Flash Fire Arcanine in this game, this is big. Because this means that something either gets severely damaged or dies on the Flare Blitz, because I am running a Life Orb one with Flare Blitz. Conkeldurr. I've never seen a Conkeldurr die that fast to a non-super effective hit before. I'm going to take a lot of damage here, by the way. I take almost... I think that's around half of my HP in pure recoil. But I right off the bat, 6'5", just because of Arcanine. And he knows that I'm probably going to want to dodge his... Sucker Punch, so if I do have a different move, I might want to go for it. If I was the Morning Sun Arcanine, that would be great, or the Morning Glory set, I should say, the one that has Will-O-Wisp, but Will-O-Wisp is not commonly seen with Flash Fire at all, so he knew he was pretty safe in going for that, and it turns out he's another Sash Bisharp as well, so it could have been referring to this guy's Bisharp if you were listening to my previous game where I learned that something was a Sash Bisharp, and yeah, that was the thing. So, as for knockoff here, he was Sash as opposed to... Life Orb or anything like that. I'm not sure how much offensive investment he had. I don't know whether or not the crit mattered. I'm gonna go ahead and say it didn't because it's a knockoff coming from a Bisharp. So moving on, I get to bring in my Zangoose right here. As much as I really should have Swords Dance here, I just went with my best instinct and just decided to go for the quick attack there, because Swords Dancing and then Facading would have led to almost another repeat of the turn 1 game, where just a lot of things die. I would have severely dented Noibat if it decided to come in there, but anything slower than Zangoose would have been torn apart. So right here, I actually did want to scout to see what kind of Zapdos it was, and it turns out he's got U-Turn on this thing. Now, I don't see that often. It serves the same purpose as Volt Switch, but with electric types, you don't necessarily want to get hard-walled like that. So it's interesting that you do run that. I say hard-walled because if you have 2 electric moves and you get locked in and you end up with the indecision on both of them, and they still have a ground type or resistance, you have another option that way. So he U-turns into this thing. I'm honestly just going to let something die because I want to see what he locks in on. So Latios did not really help me out a lot here. His rocks are also here to stay because I didn't get the opportunity to defog. But he is -1, and I completely space on the fact that he has his Zapdos still. Because I decide, you know what, this is a very good opportunity to go for Swords Dance. I realistically should have either predicted this and gone out into something else, or I should have just gone for the knockoff straight out to get rid of the leftovers. So a huge oversight on my behalf for not taking pictures / writing down my opponent's team. It's allowed at Nintendo events where you get a scratch piece of paper and you can write down what you have going on. So if it's legal by their standards, why can you not just like take a picture of the opponent's team? If anything, it saves you time that way, and you get, I don't know, some people don't like it, especially in the regular scene. I personally don't have a problem with it if you want to take a picture of my team, and conversely, I will take a picture of the opponent's team when given the opportunity to. So I guess that could be a question of the day. What do you think about that? Because I know people that are definitely on both sides of the fence when it comes to that. Moving on to this switch, though, I knew Ampharos was going to be able to take any hit it wanted to go for. And I was also trying to scale for Heat Wave, but he was not going for it. He did not go for it on that turn, which definitely leads me to believe that he doesn't have it, because that would have been a free kill right there, or he's choosing to keep it very, you know, safe and unrevealed information. I've seen T-Bolt, I've seen U-Turn, I've seen Roost. I'm assuming it's either going to be A, Defog, or B, Heat Wave, but I have no way of finding that out yet. Right now, I decided to go for a Dragon Pulse just to see how much it does. Does around half, which is, you know, kind of gross. A little bit less than half, as a matter of fact. And although I would kind of want to say that's underwhelming, you have to keep in mind that I have no offensive EV investment whatsoever, and I don't even have a positive attacking nature. So the fact I can do that much with just a stock, you know, stat, that's respectable. That's not bad. You gotta give props to Mega Ampharos, even if it does have a fairly silly design, as I've always said. But you know what? I like using the pokes that have silly designs sometimes, because they end up working out. So right here, we're going to see a little bit of things that go south for me. I've been a big fan of Rest Talkers lately in Generation 6 just because the sleep does not reset and you can manage your sleep turns that much better. But on that same note, when you manipulate your own sleep, the only way you can pick a move is with Sleep Talk. And sometimes you need a certain move to come out and it just won't. He crit Sludge Bombs there. I don't really know whether or not that ended up being relevant because I don't really realize where I would have been after Leech Seed recovery and stuff, but I aim to hit I aim to get Volt Switch right there, so that way I could have just Volt Switched out into something else. Volt Switching into something like, I don't know, Scizor would have been pretty cool there. I forgot what else I had left. Arcanine definitely ended up dying, but anything else would have been great. Zangoose, there we go. That's ultimately what I wanted to go for, I suppose. But Sleep Talking Volt Switch to go out into this and just drop a Facade. He would have ended up switching this thing in as Death Fodder. Please tell me I went for the Swords Dance here. I did not. That was very silly. I don't know. He had this thing as switch fodder the entire time, and I didn't have rocks on this team. I had a Defogger, so that was the kind of team I chose to run. I would respond to hazards rather than lay them up myself. Creates a lot of problems, as you can see, but that's what happens with theme teams. You could definitely argue and say that I could have put Stealth Rocks on Terrakion, but I was running a Scarf one, so Scarf Stealth Rock just seemed kind of weird to me. Right here, I did not want to go for the Quick Attack to dodge the Ice Shower because Quick Attack just wouldn't have done enough damage. So I did take a lot of damage there. I do get to drop another Facade on something though. So I get it off on Mamoswine, which enters the field which exits as quickly as it enters, and Venusaur is now out of the way too. So two very big threats, you know, on the other side, just taken out by Zangoose. So Zangoose probably MVP throughout this entire thing. Not to say anybody realistically needed to see it coming, but I'm definitely proud of the performance it put in. Meanwhile, move on to the freaking least valuable player here. Enter this blind-ass Terrakion who is going to continue his parade of Stone Edge missing shenanigans. Check this out. Miss this one. Okay, that's fine. He's going to go for a U-turn. U-turns into his, I believe, his Noivern on this one. Honestly, that's fine too, because I'm Scarfed, and the only way he's outspeeding me and not getting knocked out is if he is Choice Scarfed as well. But if he is, you know, I don't have to worry about him hitting as hard as a Choice Specs one would, provided I can at least hit the Stone Edge. Otherwise, that would have gone south very quickly for me. So thankfully, we're 1 out of 2 on Stone Edges with Terrakion. Beautiful. He decides to go into Zapdos again. Pressure comes into play big here because if I run out of Stone Edges, I have to switch out and start going for close combats instead. Thankfully, I do hit another Stone Edge, which is very nice. But I'm 95% positive I missed my next one, and the roll on Thunderbolt is not kind to me because it looked like I had 140 something and I go down to 71. So that would have been great to seal the game there, and that would have been a 2-0 in my favor. But instead of that, now I just have to switch into my Def Scizor. And it's important that it is Def Scizor because it's actually what's going to let me 1v1 the Zapdos. I don't have a super effective move on it, but he also does not have a super effective move on me. I have Recovery. He does not. I've knocked off his Recovery, I believe. If I haven't, I'm going to right now, predicting the Roost just to see how much it does as well. And I'm at a pretty good amount of HP, so I'm glad I took care of it during the game. I went for Swords Dance just to see, you know, just because I had an opportunity. I figured T-Bolt wouldn't do that much, and it looks like I can actually recover off these T-Bolts. It's going to be a little bit of an uphill struggle, but assuming I don't get crit somewhere along the way, which, spoilers, I actually do. I think that's actually coming up on the turn after this, where I go for a Swords Dance. And he crits me right here, but it doesn't knock me out. It actually leaves me at 2, and I'm able to just roost it off, which is why the video length is still as long as it is right now. Goes for another one, and I'm literally just going to get up to a point where I can OHKO him, or not where I can OHKO him, but I can KO him with a knockoff Bullet Punch combination, which is a lot of roosts, to be honest, and a lot of, you know, not getting crit again action. But I'm able to go for the knockoff right now, and then follow it up immediately after with a Bullet Punch to seal the game with a 1-0. So definitely was not expecting to pull that one out of the bag. By all means, I should not have been able to pull that one out of the bag. But it was fun. It was moderately suspenseful. successful. Zangoose did a thing. Terrakion basically shat the bed all over my video again. And everybody else, Latias didn't really do fantastic in this series. But hey, it was a team I put together. I kind of want to say that morning. And it didn't disappoint. So got home, you know, won the cash, immediately spent the cash. That's how it works. So anyways, that was a little 3-game mini-series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you are more than welcome to leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, and do your thing. That should do it out of me. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.